Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Salutations to our lineage of gurus who have contributed their knowledge, their art for uplifting this beautiful art of Kuchipudi. So I would like to start on the note. I am Maddali Soundarya. I come from the Telugu land. Right now it's Telangana, but once upon a time it was called as AP, Andhra Pradesh. It was just the Telugu land. My topic is scriptures on the palm leaves. I will be talking about brief compositions of the Telugu literature, especially the classical poets who have brought out the lyrical beauty of the Telugu language. Also, this in conjunction with classical dance. Desha Bhashalandu Telugu Lessa. This statement was quoted by the great Sri Krishnadevaraya. We all know that Sri Krishnadevaraya was, even though he was born from Karnataka, he hails from Karnataka, his love for Telugu, and he has written the great Amukta. He has quoted the line saying, Desha Bhashalandu Telugu Lessa. Lessa means not less or more, it means profound and very important, great in that matter. So Telugu, just like the other South Indian languages like Tamil, Malayalam, the other regional languages, it also comes from the Dravidian structure of language. And coming back to ancient Telugu literature, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. I don't know if this is visible to you. I'll just go back. I just made some small points so that I can explain in brief. Right? So, the first, why was there a need for literature, or why was there a need for any art for that matter? We all agree that literature also comes under arts, right? We have literature arts, we have visual arts, we have performing arts. So because I studied classical dance and books related to classical dance, I just wanted to ask anybody from you, can you tell me what is the need to have this art, any kind of art, be it reading a poem or enjoying some kind of a music or even watching a dance performance? Is there a need to do this? If so, why? Any simple answer should be fine. Yes? Expressing yourself. Okay. I'm asking when you receive it, like when you read a poem or when you read a book or when you watch a performance or when you watch or you listen to music, what happens to you? Enjoy. Exactly. I wanted to talk about that. So, the aspect of entertainment comes in, right? So, during the Sandhi Kalam of Treta Yugam, this is as per history. It was said that the man means not male or female, it means just the human being, was attracted to a lot of bad elements in the society. That is the Arishad Vargas. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya, Moha, Lobha. All the bad elements. Kama means not just physical lust. It means any kind of wanting more and more. You have a house, you want a bigger house. You have a car, you want a bigger car. You have more cars, you want a luxury car. You have all the cars, you want a jet. So this is kama. Krodha, anger. Anger is very much a part of our human existence. All the navarasas exist in our human system, right? Shringara Karuna, Hasya Raudra Veera Bhayanaka, Bibat Sadbhuta Shantasya, Navanatya Rasasmritaha. All the navarasas exist in our bodies. Right? So when the man started getting attached to all the bad elements, the gods and the demigods, it is believed that they have gone to Lord Brahma and they have asked for a krida. Krida is the entertainment. Krida mikshavo drishyam shravyam tamadbhavet. It means drishyam, that is, it has to be pleasing to the eyes, and shravyam, It has to be pleasing to the ears. Drishyam Shravyam Tamadbhavet. Please give us this form of entertainment. It was requested. Then Brahma created the Natya Shastra. That is, he has taken elements from Rig Veda, elements from Samaveda, elements from Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, and he has formed the Panchama Veda, the Natya Veda, the Bharata Shastra. So that is the origin of dance. But again, coming back to literature, the reason why we needed some kind of, like you said, enjoyment is what the reason why arts are existing. So coming back to the Telugu literature, there was this Prabandha period when we had the famous stories and the writings came mainly from the religious texts available back then. That is the Mahabharata, the Bhagavata, the Ramayana, the Ashtadasa Puranas, the Vedas, and then we had a particular format of Prakyartam, Utpadyam and Misramam. Second was the Sarada period where poetry was given more importance and it was more flourishing during that time. The Padakavyam, that is the poem format, the Gadakavyam, that is the prose format, and the Khandakavyam, that is the time when short poems were introduced in Telugu literature. And the Kavitrayam, like how we have in music, Sangeetatrayam, and how we have in dance, Natyatrayam, we also have in poetry, which is called as the Kavitrayam. In Telugu, it was Nannaya, Tikkanna, and Yerra Pragada. I'm sure if you are interested in regional literature, you will know who Nannaya was. He's known to be the Adi Kavi, the first poet ever known to the Telugu region people. Because he was the one who translated the great epic of Mahabharata from Sanskrit to Telugu, giving rise to many other literary stalwarts and poets who then wanted to do translations of wonderful Sanskrit literatures which was made available to the Telugu people. The Sangeeta Ratnakara, the Natya Shastra, and many other Sanskrit treatises were translated into Telugu during that time. And then Yerranna and Tikkanna also came up with their versions of literature contributions. And the golden age of Telugu literature was during the time of Krishnadevaraya. Like we all know, he had the Ashtadigajas, the 8 diamond poets in his court, who were treated equally as the king's ministers, who were given all the luxuries of the palace, who were given all the Aishararam, they say, right? So they were given everything just so that they could involve themselves completely into the creative writing and contribute their lives to literature. One of them was Allasani Peddanna, who has written the great Manu Charitra. Also Tenali Ramakrishna, I'm sure you must have heard of Tenali Ramakrishna. There are many short stories, especially children books, you find many saying Tenali Ramakrishna. He was a very funny, witty character with sarcasm, and he would solve so many issues of the king's and the royal court problems through his witty nature. So that was Tenali Ramakrishna. And Sri Krishnadevaraya himself was a very great scholar, a great poet, literary stalwart. He happened to write the Amukta Malyada in the Sri Mahavishnu temple itself. It's about a story of Andal. It's the wonderful time of Margali going on now. And how this small Goda Devi nurtures her love for Sri Ranganatha and she dreams of him. It's a fictional story again, but it was made to believe that this happened. So such was the power of literature back then. Not just the Telugu language. During his time, there was a lot of encouragement and flourishing of other languages as well, like Tamil, Kannada, Sanskrit, Malayalam, etc. And then the Prakrit and the Sanskrit influence had come in, after which the modern literature came in. Here, the great poets like Gurujad Apparao Garu, Kandukuri Veeresalingam Garu. So we had a lot of revolutionary poems which came in because it was the 19th century and by then British rule was its peak. And a lot of writers involved themselves into poetic, political and, freedom movement writing, which they have totally given themselves into. And I will not go much detail in that, keeping the interest of time. I'll quickly go to the second topic, that is the Vagekaras of Telugu literature. Now the term Vagekara, it might be new to some people. Just explain that. A Vagekara is basically a composer, not just composing the literature, but also adding the music to it. He or she would have been a trained person in music and sometimes even in dance also. Now, they are Vagekaras. Nowadays we have music direction is a separate field, lyrics writing is a separate field, or editing is a separate field, and until and unless 10 people sit on it, there is no production of a particular song or whatever. But back in those days, there was this one Pandit, the scholar, who would be trained under a guru in the Gurukulam format in various arts like music, classical music, and writing, and so much of other arts, allied arts. This makes a person a Vagekara. So, undoubtedly the first person when it comes to Telugu Vagekaras, it is Annamaya, the great. Annamaya, we all know, I think many of you have visited Tirupati. Tirupati, how many of you have visited or not visited at all? There is nobody who has not visited Tirupati. Yes. The great abode of Sri Mahavishnu, the Govinda. So, many of us know that the Hundi collection in Tirupati is per day 4.5 crores. We know these facts. But do we know that the place got that importance because of the compositions of Annamaya? How many of us know that? I don't think many. So, a person who has devoted his entire life in the Sri Mahavishnu Bhakti, or who has given his entire self to Govinda, was Annamaya. It is said that he has composed more than 32,000 kirtanas on the palm leaves back then, because obviously the script writing was done only on palm leaves. And with a great difficulty, only 12,000 of the kirtanas were retrieved by the then researchers, Sri Veturi Prabhakar Shastri Garu and Sri Ralapalli Ananta Krishna Sharma Garu. It is very important that we take these names for the contribution and research they have done. It is said that they have done it under the help and guidance of the Mysore University, and most of these scriptures are still kept safe by the TTD. Right? So, what is so special about Annamaya's kirtanas, or what is it that really triggers about Annamaya? Mainly, it is the bhakti and the devotion through which he uses his writings to the Lord. He makes it very relatable and evocative. And there is a strong emotion in each of his composition. He talks about the divine union with the Lord. He talks about Madhura Bhakti. He talks about the pangs of separation, he being away from the Lord. He even writes about Alivelumanga, the consort of Govinda, and how she feels. So his entire gamut of emotions he has expressed through his writings, which makes it very, very apt for classical dance and classical music to express this literature. I'll just take one kirtana and just explain you the Pallavi, just so that I can. He says, Vinaro Bhagyamo Vishnu Katha. Now this is in Telugu. I'll translate it to you. Vinaro Bhagyamo Vishnu Katha, Venubalam Idivo Vishnu Katha. He says, listen to the stories of Sri Mahavishnu, the Bhagavatam. It is our fortune. Bhagyamo. Bhagyamo is nothing but fortune. Venubalamu. Venubalam is our back, the spine. If the spine is not there, the body is, right? So he says, Venubalamu, the energy to the backbone is you knowing your Vishnu Katha. So these Vagikaras, they just didn't wanted to promote themselves. They were not artists who wanted to just show off their music skills or composing skills. These people wanted to bring the society in a particular path, to a spiritual path, which would help them attain moksha. Right? So such was the intention during back in those centuries of 14th, 15th century, let us say. These kirtanas have become worldwide famous without Instagram, without YouTube. So you can understand how much of Bhakti Bhava that these compositions had, that it reached such an audience. And later, our great M.S. Subbalakshmi Amma, she has made so many other compositions of Annamaya famous through her rendering of the song. Even today when we step on the Tirupati Konda, we can always hear to her Suprabhatam, which is the most melodious, tune as soon as you enter Tirupati. So I'll quickly demonstrate one item of Vinaro Bhagyamu. That was a very small demonstration of Annamaya Kirtana. And not just devotion, he even spoke about the social context during that time. So, during that time, the Chaturvarna system, I think just now sir was talking about, was in full practice. Right? We had the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Sudra. So even through his compositions, he made sure to address these social issues. So we talk about contemporary now, oh let us do something contemporary. But back then itself, there were a lot of contemporary subjects he has done through his classical literature. Right? He says here, another Kirtana, he says, Brahmamokkate, Parabrahmamokkate, the one God theory. Right? He says, Tandana na hai, Tandana na pure, Tandana na bhala Tandanana. Tandanana is a very nice term for a folklore, Andhra folklore. It says Tandanana. Right? He says, Brahmamokkate, Parabrahmamokkate. Nindara Raju, Nidrinchu Nidrayunokate, Andane, Bantu Nidra, Adiyunokate. Nindara Raju, the great king who is sleeping on his Hamsa Tulika Talapambu, or the so-called mattress with satin pillows and all the luxury, his sleep is the same. The same sleep is that of a Bantu, his own servant, who's probably sleeping on the floor. He compares both and he says that the sleep what they are having is the same. He says, Mendaina Brahmanudu Mettu Bhumi Okate. Mendaina Brahmanudu means Brahmana who has done the Panchakarma Yagnas and who has taken birth as a Dvija. His Bhumi, the path in which he walks, is the same compared to the same that of a Chandaludu. Chandaludu is usually a term used for a person coming from the Shudra caste. Chandaludundeti Saribhumi Okate. He says that both walk on the same earth, both have to go back into the same earth, both have to get dissolved into the same mud. So why do you have this feeling that you are great? So he addresses issues of social, he addresses the arrogance issues of caste which was back there during that time through his compositions. Now I'd want to go to the Thyagaraja. Yeah. Now we have to make a special mention of Thyagaraja because even though he comes from the Tamil land, he was born in Tanjavur, his love for Lord Rama made him learn the language of Telugu and compose in Telugu to the Lord Sri Rama. Even though he was given a lot of other opportunities to go and work as great poets in different courts, being called by kings personally, he never took up any assignment, just so that he could devote his complete life to Lord Sri Rama. He is also a person, a sage, a saint life, who was much into spirituality. He was a musician, he was a part of the Sangeeta Trayam, Muthuswami Thyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar and Uthukadu Venkata Subbaya Garu. Right? So it seems he used to chant the name of Lord Sri Rama 1,25,000 times every day, which amounted to 96 crore times by the time he was 38. So such was his love for Lord Sri Rama. And even he has composed more than 24,000 kirtanas, kritis, devotional hymns for the Lord, out of which only around 700 songs are remaining, which was available to us because of the same reason that they were written on tamarapatras or the palm leaves, and most of them were dissolved or diluted. So that was the greatness of Thyagaraja. Like I said again, all these Vagekaras, their main aim was not to promote themselves or to show that they are doing something great, but their main aim was to bring the society away from all the negative influences and put the human being in the path of God, put them in the path of spirituality and divinity. So I will again show you a small scene of Thyagaraja Kirtana, Nagumomu. It is a beautiful Kirtana where he talks about how beautiful Lord Rama is, and the small scene of Rama and Sita's marriage I will be depicting. I hope you like it.
Nagumomu kalavani namano haruni jagamelu suruni janaki varuni 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 nagumomu kalavani దేవాది దేవుని దివ్య సుందరుని శ్రీ వాసుదేవుని సీత రాఘవుని 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 సీత కళ్యాణ వైభోగమే రమ కళ్యాణ వైభోగమే నగుమోము కలవని నామనో హరుని జగమేలు సూరుని జానకి వరుని
How many of you understood what I have performed? Or it was just like a bouncer? So I enacted the Rama Sita Kalyanam. Not many know, but Rama never breaks the arrow. Because of the pressure he puts, the Shivadanasu, he breaks the energy. There's also interesting story why the king had asked to do this particular act. It seems when Sita was small, when she was playing the ball, it just went behind this Shivadanasu and she just lifted up with one hand and she took out the ball. So that's when he assumed that if somebody has to come to her, a match comes to her, we have to see that the man is able to lift up the bow with one hand. So such was the beauty of our cultural roots. And also, not just the traditional epic or the mythological stories, Thyagaraja also was a great business guru or a great spiritual guru, because through his compositions, he made it aware to the people of what kind of path to choose. A small kriti goes Sadhinchane O Manasa. It is a Pancharatna kritis what Thyagaraja has composed, out of which there is one called Sadhinchane O Manasa Bodhinchina Sanmargavachanamula Bonku Chesi Tapattina Pattu. This is in Telugu. I will translate it to you. Sadhinchane, that means you have achieved it. O my heart, O mind, O Manasa. Bodhinchina Sanma, he's saying this to Rama, and he also wants us to understand what it means. Bodhinchina, Rama being a king, and I'm sure that he must have had a lot of free advisors. His fathers, forefathers, other people asking him how to rule the kingdom. But he never went past his action. He was very staunch on his belief as a king and how he wanted to be. If he had to go for that Vanavasam and exile, he had to take it, he took it. It is not a big matter for him to get someone killed and become the king, right? Back then it was even valid, right? He would have just put Mandara behind the bars and he would have become. So he didn't do that. He accepted as it came. Bodhinchina Sanmarga, whatever bodhana you have received, bonku chesi, bonku cheyadam ante just leaving it, forsaking, just bonku chesi tapattina pattu. The confidence you had in your actions, the confidence you had in your path, the confidence you had in your ideas, you have led your kingdom. You had certain beliefs. You wanted to stay loyal to Sita, you did. You wanted to be that Eka Pativrata, you were like that. So that's what he says here. Rangesudu Sadganga Janakudu, here he even gives importance to music also, because he's a musician. He says, Rangeshudu Sadganga Janakudu, Sangeeta Sampradayakudu. He kept up his promise. Sangeeta Sampradayakudu. He promoted, he protected the music. That's what he says about Sadhinchane. And now I will go to the next Vagekara. Next. Yeah, Telugu Padams. By this time, once the Padam trend came in, it was already the 18th century, and the people also were very bombarded with the content of gods and deities and the Puranas and the Itihasas and Rama. So they wanted a different flavor to the same subject. So back then, I don't think Mahesh Babu and Allu Arjun were available. So the Padams were written on the one and only lover boy, that was Krishna, right? Krishna was the lover boy and Rama was the neat hero, the one who is a loyal chocolate boy, let us say. Right? So most of the Padams, be it Kshetre Padams, Sarangapani Padams, or many other Javalis also, were based on the Nayika and Nayaka concept. Here, in the 18th century time also, there was a lot of women in power. There were a lot of women also who came into power. Warriors, Rani Lakshmi Bai, we had Rudrama Devi from Kakatiya. We had many other writers, and women power, the feminine energy started contributing to a lot of other genres of art and everything, any other wars and all that also. So that's when the Padams were written on the characters of the woman. Here, unlike in any other compositions, the woman, the Nayika, plays the main part of the composition. She is being kept in mind by the composer, and then he composes a certain situation. Most of it is Krishna, because he was the universal God. He was someone everyone were ready to connect to, and it would have been acceptable. Whatever Krishna does was acceptable in the composition. There were no, like how, there were no opinions, there were no perceptions. If Krishna did this, Krishna had 16,000 wives, yes, accepted. Your husband has, no, you'd not, right? So that's how it was. Whatever Krishna did was universal, and it had a certain reason. Even the Ashtapadis of Jayadeva, if you take, they had that in them. The Nayika was given the utmost importance. So I will enact a small padam. Here it says, before I enact, I'll just try to explain it, because it's in Telugu and you might not understand the words, but by actions you might understand. Here, the Nayika, like I said to you, she's a Khandita Nayika. She's a angry Nayika because she got cheated by Krishna. She was waiting the whole night for him. He returns back in the morning, and she sees that he has spent an entire night with somebody else, because she sees several marks on his physical appearance, be it hair strands on his body or anything like that, which kind of gives her that anger, and she says, now I am not the one for you, just you leave. She says, Pora. Po in the sense, just go. Don't come near me. You have done a mistake. I was waiting for you, but you did not come to me. You went to somebody else's house. You spent a whole night over there, and you're returning back to me. This is not acceptable. You please leave. Okay? So see it from a philosophical point of view. You will understand the Madhura Bhakti. It is all about how the Jivatma is yearning to in union with the Paramatma. And this love scene, or this love quarrel, or the Kalapam, is nothing but Madhura Bhakti, a Madhura Kalapam, a love quarrel between the man and the woman, the Nayika and the Nayaka. She says, Indendu Vachitivira, Aladanillu, ee vidi kadura, popora. Aladanillu, you have gone to somebody else's house. Such a big house, 3-storied building, luxurious house, resort. This is my small 2-bedroom apartment. Why are you coming here? Please leave. Please go. Please go to that lady. You are going, right? You please go. That's what she's saying here. Mandara Giridharudaina, Mamuva Gopala. You are the one who lifted up the Mandara mountain to save all the Gokulam. Huh? You are such a sweet Gopala, O Krishna. Kundara Danamadini Koruchuni Vipudu. Means that beautiful lady with the wonderful lips she had, you have gone to her, but you have not come to me. So, this is not your place. You leave, she says. Hechaina Vennelalo Illu Teliyakani. He says one reason. He says that, oh, because it was night, I couldn't see. I just went into somebody's house thinking it was you. Krishna says that reason. He says, he was saying that obviously now he has to try to make it up to her, right? He said, oh, I didn't know that it was not you. I thought it was you. I just tapped the door, and then she says, It was a full moon, there was so much of light, and then you again barged into somebody else's house and now you come and give these reasons to me? హెచ్చైన వెన్నెలలో ఇల్లు తెలియక నీవు మత్స్య కంటిని గూడి మైమర్చిపోయావు. వన్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ యువర్ యాక్టివిటీ, యూ టోటలీ ఫర్గాట్ మీ ఈజ్ వాట్ షీ స్టార్ట్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సే. అండ్ మంచిగా తోడుగా మనసు చల్లగా చేసి సాటిస్ఫైడ్ యూ వెరీ వెల్. అండ్ నౌ యూ హ్యావ్ డన్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, బట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ హ్యావ్ డన్ విత్ హర్, ఐ am not the woman you have to come back to, just you leave. She says pora. Okay, I'll perform the kshetraya padam. That is the last. Now after this I'll keep it open for questions or any discussions. So here she was Khandita Nayika, like I said. She's just not tolerating that she was just used by Krishna. So we need more Khandita Nayikas, right? Yes. So I think the session has come to the end. Any questions, discussions, anything, you can let me know. Anything regarding even the Padam is fine. Were you able to follow what I did? Yes, my dear Chechis and Chetas, waiting for your...
Hi.
Hi.
How deeply do you research about the background of each performance that you enact?
That is the beauty of classical arts. Before I compose a certain or choreograph a certain item, it requires for the artist to deeply understand the literature. So when I was dancing as a child, I just went to classes, did what the teacher said. But when I started doing my own independent projects, I understood that you had to have a deep meaning, understanding of the literature and also the music. Sadly, classical arts in our generation, especially 90s kids, I think, it was always treated as co-curricular activity. Dance co-curricular, music it was never a part of the curriculum. So we were not given that much of time and energy for dance, which I realized later. And I feel it was very late for me by the time I could understand this. And it's a very beautiful thing altogether. I didn't know anything about music, I didn't know anything about literature, but dance opened up avenues for me to understand what literature is, to understand what music is all about. And I'm still trying to learn more and more about the literature and music and dance. And it's a beautiful amalgamation of all the three when you start working on something like that. Anybody who has not seen Kuchipudi before, it's the first time they're watching Kuchipudi? This is not Bharatanatyam, what I did. Once again, I'd like to let you know that it's Kuchipudi, the classical dance of Telugu region.
Hi, ma.
Hello.
So you were talking about how poets were contemporary then. When you do your performance, how much do you think about the contemporary relevance and how much do you critically understand the pieces that were composed, say, centuries ago with the social and the awareness that you have today? So do you get to tweak these performances?
Do you?
Tweak? Do you get to
Yeah.
kind of work on it, have subtle changes so as to make it kind of relevant for the times?
Yes, a very nice question actually. Yes, classical compositions, I believe, because I'm a traditional artist, I learn under my guru, I respect my teachers, and I've brought up in a very traditional upbringing. So usually classical compositions, we do not really try to change it, because like I told you, those compositions were done with a lot of already put efforts and brain work and energies and a sense of spirituality. So when you try to change that itself, it doesn't really work. Now there is let us take a nice kriti. Let us take Thyagaraja kriti, for example. Now you have seen Nagumomo. It's a wonderful raga. Now a contemporary artist tries to change the raga itself. There is no meaning to the lyrics also. So there's some authentic pieces which are not meant to be totally deviated. Yes, you can have another version of it, but not really change the entire thing. Because contemporary, if you ask me, you can do anything now. Now this is 21st century. There are dancers dancing music for trees, plants, all kinds of subjects they are taking into consideration. So let us keep the classical arts as it is and try to pass it on to our coming generation is what I feel. Yes, anybody else? Fine. So I'd like to give thanks to the organizers of Kerala Literature Festival, specifically Dr. Sachidanand sir and Ravi sir, for giving me this wonderful, once in a lifetime opportunity to come to Kerala and give this wonderful session. I am a true Kerala fan by heart. I keep coming to Kerala every 6 months. I've been to other places also, and this place immediately connects a lot for me, and coming here means a lot, and I'm very happy that today I was here to share this session with you all. I believe that all these people who have done these compositions or who have done these contributions to art are Karana Janmas. They were born for this purpose. Most of them you will not even know who is the father or the mother's name. It's not recorded anywhere in history. And most of their lives were very short-lived. They just came, they fulfilled this purpose, and they just left the earth. So such was the greatness of our composers. I think we as Indians, we should be able to give this cultural tradition to our upcoming generations in whatever form, be it dance or music or literature, anything. We have to encourage them to uphold this culture, that great culture which we have. I don't think anywhere in the world it exists, right? So let us try to withhold that. Thank you. Once again, namaskaram.